Hey, I'm Adam Jusko from ProudMoney.com. Which of the three major credit bureaus gives you the highest credit score and which gives you the lowest? Is there a reason that there is a difference between them? Is one of them always going to be better or worse than the others? That's what we're going to look at in this video. But before we do, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not already, and if you have already, I thank you for doing so. So I did a video recently where I talked about how many different credit scores there are and why there are so many different ones. The fact that there are FICO scores and Vantage scores, and that there are three different credit bureaus that are going to calculate those scores differently based on what they have on their particular credit report. And someone asked, well, is one of the credit bureaus better than the other or worse than the others based on the scores that they sort of consistently give? So, are you going to think that Experian is generally better than TransUnion, or that TransUnion is usually better than Equifax? Is one highest and one lowest and one in the middle? Now, if you've been keeping track of your credit scores at all, you might already think that you know the answer to this question because you have consistently seen that one of the credit bureaus gives you higher credit scores than the other ones. However, that is sort of an illusion because what you are seeing is your own personal experience, and that is not necessarily the same experience that someone else is going to be having, because you are getting credit reports and credit scores that are based off of your unique profile and the unique reporting that has been done about your credit history. But in truth, the credit reporting agencies don't have much control over what information they get about you. That is up to the banks whether they want to report certain things to the credit reporting agencies, or if they want to use a particular credit reporting agency to pull your credit when you apply for new credit cards or new loans. And that is why each of the credit reporting bureaus has a little bit different credit report about you, and that is why you have different credit scores in the first place. So while one may seem like it is the highest consistently for you, that doesn't necessarily mean that somebody else is going to have that same credit bureau be the highest for them. Now, hopefully that makes sense, but if it doesn't, I will give you an example using my own credit scores. So if I go into the My FICO system that gives me a fairly updated version of all my credit scores across all three credit reporting bureaus, you can see that Experian has the highest credit score for me using the FICO 8 formula, which my FICO says is the most commonly used out there on the market today. So Experian has me the highest at 827, TransUnion has me the lowest at 818. Not a huge disparity, but you can see that all three of them are different numbers. Now, if we look at the bank card scores, which is the score that many credit card companies use, it has a scale that goes up to 900. You'll see that Experian again has me the highest at 852. This time TransUnion is second. It was third before, pretty much the same with Equifax, but a little bit of a difference there. But again, Experian number one. If we look at mortgage scores, Experian likes me best again. Now, this is not a complete apples to apples comparison because Experian is using version 2 of the FICO mortgage score. Equifax is using version 5, and then TransUnion is using version 4. But still, Experian comes out on top, then Equifax, and then TransUnion. So a little bit of a trend here. Experian has come out on top 3 times in a row, and for the most part, TransUnion on the lower end. Looking at the automotive scores, again, Experian number 1. This time TransUnion number 2, fairly close to what Experian is saying, and then Equifax significantly down from the other two. So looking across all the scores that my FICO provides, from the general score to the bank card score to the auto score to the mortgage score, across the board for me, Experian giving me the highest credit scores, TransUnion giving me the lowest credit scores. However, just because Experian is the highest for me and TransUnion is the lowest for me, that doesn't mean that Experian is the highest for you and TransUnion is the lowest for you. And here's why. When we look at the recent credit inquiries between the three credit bureaus, you can see that 4 different credit card companies have done hard inquiries on my TransUnion credit report over the past year. Only one credit card company has checked my Experian credit reports. I've got only one hard hit there. None of them have checked my Equifax credit report. So as far as TransUnion is concerned, I am going after credit on a very regular basis. Experian thinks I'm going after credit, here and there, but not all that often. And Equifax thinks, I haven't gone after credit in a long time. So that is going to hurt my TransUnion score. However, just because that is true for me does not mean it is true for you, because the different credit card companies are going to make their own decisions about who they want to use in terms of pulling your credit. Some of them are going to pull just one of the credit bureaus. Some of them are going to pull multiple credit bureaus. Some of them may pull a different credit bureau depending on where you are in the country. And I don't really know why that is the case, but it does consistently happen, because sometimes when I make videos and I say, here's who pulled my credit, somebody else who got the same card says, oh, mine got pulled by the other credit bureau instead. So there are many different reasons that your credit may be pulled from one bureau versus another. So again, TransUnion hurting me with 4 inquiries in the last year. Equifax doesn't even know I opened anything. Well, that's not totally true, because once I have an account open and it starts getting reported to Equifax, well, then they're obviously going to know that I opened a new card account, even if that credit card company did not initially pull my credit with them to make a decision on my application. So in most cases, when you open a new credit card, that credit card company is going to start reporting your on-time payments or lack thereof to all 3 of the major credit reporting bureaus. However, they don't always do it. For example, within the last year or so, we have seen that the Apple Card, when it first came out, Goldman Sachs, who issues the Apple Card, was first only reporting to TransUnion, and then recently they started also reporting to Experian. They still are not reporting to Equifax. So the payments that I am making or not making on my Apple Card are not showing up on all 3 of my credit reports. Also, for me personally, I recently got the Verizon card, and that one is only reporting to TransUnion and Equifax. As I make this video, I assume it's going to report to all 3 eventually. It's a very new card, but for the moment, not reporting to Experian, and so that is going to make a little bit of a difference, because that card is not showing up on my Experian credit report. So in conclusion, there is no one credit bureau that is the default highest credit score bureau or the default lowest credit score bureau. It is going to depend on your unique circumstances, what kind of credit cards and other loans you take out, maybe where you live, who they report to in terms of the credit bureaus, who they are going to hit when they make their initial decisions on your application. A lot of that stuff is out of your control. So when you look at your own history, your own record, and your scores across the 3 bureaus, you might feel like one of them consistently is your best credit bureau, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's true across the board. And it doesn't even necessarily mean that that is going to be true for you 5 years from now, because if you open other loans and they hit different credit bureaus when they make decisions on your applications, well, then one of your other credit scores could get higher and one of the other ones could get lower from a different bureau. So it changes over time depending on what happens and how each one of your credit reports is hit. Does that make sense? If not, put your questions, comments, suggestions in the comments section below, and I'll do my best to answer them. Otherwise, I thank you for watching, and as always, please go to proudmoney.com, where we do credit card reviews, we talk personal finance, we talk deals, and all sorts of other fun stuff too. Thank you for watching. Bye.